All right. Hi, everybody, whoever's going to come. We are just chit chatting and waiting for somebody to come. The moment we will see one or two people, yeah. So we see somebody. Somebody's there, right, Nikhil?
Yes, yes. I can see.
Yeah. Yeah. So hi, whoever that is. Okay, that's three.
Hi.
Okay. Hi, whoever that is, and we are going to be starting in about a minute. Tab tak, you can just stare at our faces and I guess just have fun. But well, um, jokes apart, whoever had lobby, first of all, thank you so much. We'll be starting in about a minute. And this is the first time that we are doing a live. At least I'm doing a live for the first time. Nikhil, I think, is used to doing live shows, and I'm used to doing live Voice of Silence. But in about 30 seconds, I'm going to introduce him. And like I said before that thank you so much for whoever is watching right now. You will see a recorded session of this as well. Nikhil, you'll be putting it up, and I'll also be putting it up, right? On our
Yes.
respective YouTube channel. Okay. So with that, I think let's begin. Shall we? You good
Sure.
to go, Nikhil? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, everybody. Hi, I'm Kanika, and I conduct something called the Voice of Silence, basically, which is to just bring stories from across, across the world, but as of now, only India. And these stories are about celebrating the human spirit and also to kind of talk about the silences that we suffer in and which we don't have to, and sometimes also to inspire other people. So today's story actually is about inspiration. And as always, I always begin with the quote. And today's quote for our 22nd speaker for the 22nd episode at Voice of Silence is the following. It is never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. And that life consists of a lot more than just your job. And nobody personifies this better than our next speaker, Nikhil Patwardhan, who right now is joining us from Pune. He is a very, very well established sitar player. He is a professional and he's a father and a husband, a son, a friend, and all of that. We are here to welcome him, give him a very warm welcome, and understand how does he manage the trinity, as he calls it. So, on that note, thank you so much, Nikhil, for joining in. Thank you so much for doing this for us. Welcome to the Voice of Parents.
Thank you so much, Kanika, and Voice of Silence also for inviting me and allowing or requesting me to share my story, my journey about the Trinity, as we call it, of life. So, thank you so much.
It's a wonderful, it's such a wonderful name, the Trinity. And Pada Nikhil, before I even begin the whole interview and ask you about your life, one thing I want to compliment you on as a man, okay? Because the other day when we were chit chatting, you said something very sweet. You said that Kanika, ये जो lockdown हुआ था उसमें सब समझ आ गया. And that you know how when we tend to maybe take up a little more responsibilities, and you said it yourself that I understood, Kanika. I understood. So we will pitch in that bit a little later, but I want to begin with that, with complimenting you openly in front of everybody. So on that note, my first question to you would be, let's begin from your early life. How was your early life when you were a kid? How were you introduced to music? Please tell us.
Yeah. So from the beginning, basically, uh, the music started from my grandfather. Uh, my grandfather introduced the music, the Indian classical music to our family. Then it was my grandmother also was into music. She was a all India radio vocal artist, and that's where it originated in my family. And then after that, my father also learned from my grandmother, my grandfather, and then I learned from my grandmother and my father. And my aunt also learned the sitar and Indian classical music. So I'm the third generation of musicians in my family. And again, it is not professional musicians, but uh, passionate musicians who want to carry forward the tradition of music, of Indian classical music, our own Indian classical music, and doing our regular jobs and leading our regular life, but having this parallel track of music and the purpose being to spread and continuing the tradition of Indian classical.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you come from a family of musicians, and given that you are from the next generation, you did not want to like break away कि मैं नहीं करूँगा ये वो. So that is number one, very praiseworthy. Because we do belong to, you and I are at the same age, right? So we belong to a that similar generation, right? And कुछ भी कह लो इंडिया में ऐसा नहीं है कि बहुत starkly different bringing up, बहुत starkly different नहीं है. Of course, there is a difference culturally. But pretty certain that the way that your parents brought you up or my parents brought you up में इतना फर्क नहीं होगा कि भैया बिल्कुल ही मतलब आप बाहर से कहीं से आ रहे हो. So given that fact, it is pretty awesome that you decided to do this. But my question to you is that when you were a kid and you were managing studies also, see, you studied, right? And you studied a lot. How how मन नहीं करता था कि क्या है ये खेलना है, what is all this? So तब क्या होता था? How would you manage that time? When you were a kid?
Yes, so yeah, when I was a kid, as I mentioned, there was always an atmosphere of music in the house. So we always had, tabla players come in, or there were students. My grandmother used to teach, and it was always an atmosphere. My father was also playing the sitar, and it was an atmosphere of music in the house. So it was like we were just drawn to it, and of course there were struggles when I could hear my friends playing outside, and I did go out and play as well. It wasn't as if I was just in a room and not allowed to go out and play, but it was just my inner drive. I just wanted to take it up and start learning it as soon as I could, because I could see one thing is that my grandfather or my grandmother, the music that they did it for many years. So I could see the longevity of that art. It wasn't just kind of like a pad or something like that you make up.
Huh.
Yeah,
Huh.
so it was the longevity of that art, and if something has that much longevity, obviously it has a lot of value and a lot of depth to it. So that's what actually got me thinking. And it wasn't, I mean, when I was a kid, I wasn't thinking all of this, but slowly as, I could see the difference between my friends and, you know, uh, when we are kids, we are just, want to play, want to go outside. We don't want anything that is has discipline in it, basically. We just want
Yeah.
to just
Yeah.
be free and not be disciplined, not have any structure. But I used to play, I used to mix with my friends. All that was going on. But at the same time, I was always drawn towards this music, and it kind of filled in a void while growing up. While growing up in our generation, people used to play video games or whatever was available at that time, watch TV or play outside and all of that stuff. But this thing was like, a very deep connection, basically, from a very young age because of the atmosphere in the house. जिसको हम लोग माहौल बोलते हैं, the माहौल.
हाँ, माहौल था, माहौल था. अ, फिर भी एक सवाल है that माहौल है, ठीक है, and you mentioned the word discipline. And right now, I personally feel, I think it's a universal fact that nothing is achieved without discipline, consistency, hard work, sincerity, dedication. And you yourself said that बच्चों में इतना समझ नहीं आता, right? Because you're seeing your peers, है ना? तो उसमें you answered your question, ठीक है? That we understood that there was a drive. I understand because I'm an artist myself. I'm a painter, and I identify with that because वो आपका let out होता है. But my question to you is, पढ़ाई के लिए प्रेशर था कि बेटा देखो ये ठीक है, but पढ़ाई में भी आपको बहुत अच्छा करना है. Was that there that you have to do well in studies also? And if there was, then how? So that what kind of situation, what kind of condition were your parents creating for you? वो क्या है मतलब? vis-a-vis पढ़ाई and पढ़ाई TikTok music.
Right. So the pressure of studying was not there actually, because I really liked to study also, because it was I had seen my parents. Because the thing is, any anybody.
Sorry to interrupt. ये जो आपने बोला ना, I starting मत बोलो यार. See, now you must be who like studying, man. But ठीक है, sorry, that was a joke.
No problem. So basically, the reason, I figured out later. The reason was I had never seen anybody in my family take up music as a full-time profession. It was always a mix of both. So it naturally, I just took to that okay, we have to handle both the things together. And it was school. When we go to school, there is a different environment in school, right? You are in a competing environment. Uh, people are studying and people are going forward. The kids your age, your friends, everybody. It's a different environment at school. So that environment actually helped me in my studies. And when I came home, again, there was music always, but the music kind of took a back seat. It wasn't like the prominent thing in my life at that time. It was mostly like, okay, let's finish your studies. And then at night or whenever you have time at night, you sit and practice a little bit. Whatever you are learning, whatever you learned in the sitar or the music, practice it a bit. Let's revise it a bit. So music का कैसे था कि it was never a pressure for me. It was always enjoyment. So even the practice that I used to look forward to that practice. So that was that is basically the thing. And the full time, the basically my approach was always that from my studies I'm getting something more intellectual, and the music part of it is more of it is more of the art and more of feelings and emotions and passion and everything. But it was always complementary. It was never you know uh, right. It was two different directions, but they merged. They a bit merged together. So I used to perform at school. Also, I used to take my. So I went to Loyola's, which is a Catholic school at that time, and a sitar was completely unknown over there. Like, if, kid knew about keyboards and the typical Catholic schools. So sitar was completely unknown. So I had to kind of not. I mean, I had to overcome that obstacle of how do I go and show this instrument, because this is something that is very unique to us, and it's not blending with the other kids. The peer pressure of the kids and all those things. So
Yeah.
that was always there. It was. I mean, I never had to be forced to do anything. So I never had to be forced to study. I never. That little bit of pressure is always there. Like, because as kids we need to
That's
take away the. But it was never like, oh, you're wasting too much time playing the sitar and music and all, and you're forgetting your studies. It was never like that. It was always the priorities were very clear for me myself, without any pressure that I have to study, because I have seen my parents do the same thing. They've worked hard and gone through all the education and everything. So I had seen all of that. So I knew the path, the right path. So uh, that's where it came in. And a lot of times what happens is people think that the music path is a bad path and all of that. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a bad if you do your practice right, but if you are committed to it, definitely you can excel at it. You can excel. But just saying that I want to do music and not doing the practice right, I mean, there is 10, 12 hours of practice, very strict, stringent practice, even in music. I would say it is even worse than the school, the practice part of it. Because in music, you need to also have the aptitude. Okay, you have to have the aptitude. When you're in school, when you're studying, right? There's no aptitude question there. You have to go through all the subjects and you have to score in your exams. That's it.
Yeah.
There is nothing. I like science or I have an aptitude for math and nothing like that. It's just whatever is there. Right. It's a very straight path. But here, there has to be an aptitude also. So that developing that aptitude, working on that aptitude, and then practicing, that requires a lot of discipline also in music. So both the things. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I was saying, well, through at least this part, the the thing that is coming out, Nikhil, is because we will progress. And of course, today's interview will be slightly different because we will go through your life, and in those life stages, we will give out messages. What I'm realizing is that that means is part me, where you're still in school. So let's say there are children today in school who really like doing XYZ. It could be anything. It's not just music we're talking about. Arts, following their passion. what is coming out from your story is that the parents, your parents, and the atmosphere at home was conducive in a way that, okay, you like music and you have an aptitude, but do you know that you have to give in the discipline? So you've better given discipline here. But at the same time, पढ़ाई भी important है. At the same time, खेलना भी important है. So उस time का Trinity was playing, studying, and practicing music. Am I right? So that's a little thing for parents today to understand that please do not overshadow anything. बच्चे में aptitude है तो जरूरी नहीं है कि वो बस म्यूजिशियन बनेगा और बाकी सब भूल जाएगा वो सब कर सकते हैं. Is that
Yes,
right?
yes,
That's
right.
right.
No,
So
and
moving on.
one message I would like to give is
Yeah.
this, at that age when you're a kid, everything is action oriented. So whatever the child or the kid sees, it's going to do it. So it's nothing. I mean, you can tell, you can talk about it, you can scold, you can do all, but actually what you're doing is what the child is going to copy. So my advice to parents or whoever wants their children to go into both these paths is to show it by example. Take up some hobby as a parent.
Yeah.
Take up some hobby. Take up art or along with your job. Do that. Do both the things together at the same time. So the children see that, and that's what I learned. That's how I took up both the things. Is I saw my parents doing it. So
Yes.
it was that stayed with me, and then so that is the best way to encourage your children to take up both the things by doing it
That's
yourself.
an excellent,
So
excellent example. And anyways, that's coming through so clearly from your talk, from the word go, the way you started only. उससे इतना clarity मिल रहा है that आपके घर, you said माहौल, you used the word माहौल. तो जब
yes,
माहौल यूज किया मतलब घर पे ही दिख रहा है जब तो बच्चा और उसको समझ ही नहीं आता because the reality is based on what we are seeing now when we are kids. So your
right.
reality was that. But now moving ahead, Nikhil, then I know that you went on to do your grad and masters. Please talk about it. And also in context again. First tell me what you did. Tell us what you did. What your masters in and music तब कैसे हो रहा था? Take us through that journey.
Sure. So basically, after my bachelor's in engineering from Pune, I went to Clemson University in the United States. So I did my master's in electrical engineering over there, and my specialization was VLSI design. So IC design and chip design. That was my specialization. So what I did was I took my sitar along with me to the US, and that's it. Always came with me wherever I went. Jobs. I worked in the US for around 8 years. So the sitar always stayed with me. At when I was doing my masters, I used to find some time during the day or even when I have done my assignments during my masters. So that's when what I noticed was, and that this is a message is that time is our most valuable asset. Time is everything, and as we already know, the time that is gone cannot be recovered back. So what I did was I identified gaps, time gaps in my day. So it's a very strategic, very kind of like a focused surgical, you can call it as a surgical plan, basically, where in a day, and this is something that all of us can also do, even I do it even now in the day. You identify your time gaps. When I say time gaps, it is the time that you're wasting, the time that is not adding any value to your life at all. So that can be, as we all know, watching TV, just roaming around on malls or going to, for going shopping. All those things are necessary. It's not like you stop it completely, but identify those time gaps that when you get up in the morning, do you just waste time watching the phone or do you have those 10, 15 minutes, the time? So in the day, you identify these time gaps and you fill those time gaps with whatever passion you have. Just go and do it. So that's what I used to do with my masters also. Whenever I found time, my sitar was always in front of me. The other advice is whatever you are doing, say you're doing painting, you're practicing art, don't keep it in a box somewhere in a cupboard because you will never get to it. It always has to be in front of you, in front of your eyes, opened up completely. So this is what I noticed when I was doing my masters. My sitar was always in front of mine. It wasn't ever in a box, because what happens is when you keep things in a box and in a cupboard, you tend to get lazy. Oh, who's going to open that? And, again, we have to open it, take it out, keep it back. Oh, I just have 10 minutes. And in those 10 minutes, if 5 minutes are going to come opening and closing the thing, I better not do it. So keep it in front of your eyes, whatever you have. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, these small drops of time, they add up to this ocean of time. They do add up in the day. You will easily recover 1 or 2 hours in a day if you find out these small gaps. So that
Yes.
is something that I used to practice very, very rigorously when I did my master's. So whenever there was time, I used to go and just practice. So the sitar, that's how I kept it alive. Otherwise, बहुत से लोग क्या होता है कि चलो इंडिया छोड़ के चले गए तो लीव द थिंग
हाँ,
द
हाँ,
अभी
exactly.
यूएस में जाके यूएस का लाइफ जीना है सो व्हाई जस्ट लीव एवरीथिंग हियर
Yeah.
बट नो आई टुक इट विथ मी I used to go to the pain and the trouble of carrying it everywhere, to the airport, to the cabs, everything. So it always stayed with me. So
That, yeah, hats off, yeah, Nikhil, to that. Hats off. And at the same time, I relate with this, Nikhil. I really, really do. And we were talking, remember that thank God I found somebody like you because we were discussing, remember when we were chit-chatting that a lot of people will come up and say, how do you find time to do so much? And remember, you and I both discussed this that हर चीज में खुशी मिल रही है हमें तो हमको तो I have no time है तो और भी करना है because of the time gaps and such a beautiful statement you gave that if you find drops of time then you will find an ocean. That is such a beautiful statement. Thanks for that. And I get it. Absolutely get that. Time is in your hands. आप देख लो करना है. So, ये हो गया जी masters हो गए. Then how did you move into the family life? Like when did you get married? How was it? If you want to tell us how it was, that would be fun. I mean, it's always nice to peek into other people's personal lives. So if you want to tell us a little how you met your wife, if you want to, otherwise it's all good. And then move into your family life, like children and stuff. Then we will go on to
So,
message.
so basically, when I was doing my job after my master's in the US, I just came to India, and through my father's friends, my wife and I met actually. So we were like close friends and family. So that's where we met. So basically, my wife, she came to the US, and she met me over there, and we got engaged in the US. At her aunt's place in Texas. And then after 6 months, we came to India and we got married in India, and then we went back to the US again. So that's when the family life started basically. And I really give credit to my family, my wife, for being so supportive in what I do and continue to do, and they keep on supporting me even now. Because there are times when I'm going for concerts and office work and everything, and my wife, she and my parents, so we live together. So everybody pitches in, and the keep the house running, keep the home running. There is no stop or any kind of basically any gap in that. So that is
ये
very,
कैसे
very
होता
important.
है?
So,
Now I will do little chabi, okay? So, I'm a, yeah, bro, I'm also I'm Aurat. I'm Bharatiya Nari, okay? And we wives, if your wife is listening, okay, it's nice to give out credit and all of that, but कभी बुलाओगा नहीं वो, तुम्हारा सितार तुम तो अपने सितार से ही प्यार करते हो तुम मुझसे नहीं करते ये कभी नहीं हुआ
yes.
तुम कभी वक्त नहीं दे तुम मुझे वक्त नहीं देते यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट टाइम गैप्स निखिल मैं कहा हूँ तुम्हारे टाइम में ये कभी नहीं हुआ सर
No, no, no. This
कभी
happened. Of course, this happens, and this continues to happen.
that
And that's when you have to, that's where the balance comes in. That's the whole topic. That how to balance. So when for me also, I sometimes get carried away that I take up too many things. So too many students, too many concerts, a lot of things, and then I put a stop on myself. That no, this is going too far. Because I have my job, my family. So then I have to pull myself back and then kind of prioritize the things. So
yes
that is very important. Like weekends, we have Saturday, Sunday, 2 days. In that, I have only peak students, so it's all packed like weekends. There are people who come to accompany or practice with the tabla with me. So it's all packed. But some of the weekends I say no more. They know nothing. So that day is only for family, and we go out, and that's the family time. So that is
Yeah.
what that is the balance we're talking about. So anything in excess is bad, and so you have to. Uh, but the thinking is always there. So okay, what do I have to do next? That
Yes.
thing is always running
Yes.
in your mind. So if that thing is there and you know when to act on it, then it works out just fine. So that is the.
And would you agree? Would you agree? Again, this is artist to artist, and also professional to professional, family person to family person. Would you agree that it is not long term planning? ये हर रोज होता है. Would you? I do that. Like मेरे लिए ऐसा नहीं. If you ask me today, तनिका एक हफ्ते का बताओ प्लान. नहीं, मेरा हर डे होता है. Is that
Right.
the same
Right.
with you? Every
Yes.
day I'm giving priority. Okay, what's important today? Is that
Yes.
correct, or can I have
Yes.
to tell me a 5 year plan, Nikhil? Will you be able to tell your 5 year plan to me?
No, you cannot. So basically, see, the other one more message here is whatever is your passion, right? Set goals for it. You have to set goals for it. So, for example, sitar me or any music or any art. Okay, I want to do so many paintings in this month, or I want to do so many concerts. I want to perform here. I want to perform there. I want to do recordings. Whatever it is, have goals. Just if you don't have goals, it's not going to go anywhere. You have to set goals, realistic goals, keeping all these factors in mind, family or work, your personal time. You also need some personal time because you're otherwise
Yes.
it's just to sit back and just relax a bit. You need that personal
Yeah.
time, correct? So,
You everything.
so
You.
yes. So all these things, if you have a goal and targets, set targets, then that will be the main thing. So instead of just aiming somewhere that I'll be doing this, I'll be doing that, set those goals. In 6 months, I want to do this. If 8 months, I want to do this. In 2 months, I want to do this, and then work on that goal and assess yourself regularly that how much of that goal I was able to do today, you know,
Ji.
and what am I going to do tomorrow. So these kind of things. And as I said, the time tricks, right? The time management, it's all time management. That is the main thing to master here. The passion, the art, the job, the work, family, everything fits in once the time is
Yeah.
managed, right?
Yes.
So we
Yes.
have, for
Yeah.
example, if right now is a very simple trick is we have delivery for everything. We have delivery now, and lockdown period, or it has grown extensively. So why do we have to go to malls, or why do we have to go to restaurants to eat? Okay, enjoyment is something different, but if for example you want to get some food, don't take out your car, get stuck in traffic for 20 minutes, and then get your food and come back. Use delivery wherever possible. Use delivery because that saves a ton of time. If it saves a ton of time, because the time that you spend in just browsing and selecting what you want is much less than going there and getting it.
All the
And,
and
and
packing.
that same time can be utilized for your passion, your time management. We have so many good things nowadays that that can save time for you. So take if you and like many of my concerts, what I do is I don't drive to concerts. I take a cab, and in the cab you can relax, or you can plan in the cab. So these things are there, so that 1 hour or 2 hours that gets spent in driving, you could just sit back and just schedule your day, find out things. So small things here and there, like these things are very important. If you are going to someone's, I mean, if you want to spend time going to relatives or something, set a kind of like a time limit. Okay, I have to go after this time. So you have to get past that initial, that mindset. You have to go past
Yeah.
that mindset. कि मेरा भी कुछ है यहाँ पे चल रहा है. It is, I have some plans going on, and for that, I have to fix the time for myself and not, waste time. So, see, nowadays, even going to movies, right? For example, you want to go to watch a movie. Okay, that experience is there. But if you don't know how a movie is, watch it on online. Just see the reviews, see everything. you will save 3-4 hours of just wasting time. कितने बार ऐसे होता है कि 3 घंटे हम लोग स्पेंड करते हैं थिएटर में जाके, you start, you see a movie, after that you come back, अरे यार सब it was such a lousy movie, I wasted 3 hours.
Crap
So
movies.
many times it happens. So just see the reviews, a little intelligent time management, thoda that is important. Even at work, for example, if you're done with your work, get out of there. Don't just sit and chit chat, just looking at screen, browsing something. Get out of there. You're done with your work. And if needed, you can always log in from home. So these things are very important. Now, even in my office, what I do is I take my sitar with me to office every day before the lockdown. So what I used to do, I take it with me. I have a smaller size sitar. I take that sitar with me. I keep it. I have already taken permission. I keep it in the gym or somewhere, or in near the cafeteria, wherever there is a room. I keep it there. Whenever I have time in the break or something, I go and practice. I go in and sit, and lunch break, lunch तो हमारा 10-15 मिनट में खत्म होता है. We don't take 1 hour. After that, what people do, they go out for walk, chit chat, this that, ये सब होता है. तो उसमें you can utilize easy half an hour to do your practice, easily half an hour, and that those small things will add up. So that's these are the tricks, small tricks. So take your instrument. If you are doing art, for example, take your paintings with you to office. Why don't you sit and practice in the and ऐसा हो गया कि I started practicing so much that the people stopped going for walks and they came and they used to listen to me. So it after that उसको भी थोड़ा सा आराम मिलता था. अरे why चलो you play and just sit and listen to, and then go back to work.
But you know what, Nikhil? So, I know, Nikhil, one thing though I would like to say here, and because just like you, I also interact with a lot of people, and see now, people like you and me, and those who are watching, maybe out of which a lot of them also may be, having a lot of hobbies or even passions in life. I can hear the questions that are coming in the net. I can imagine the questions that हम वो सब तो ठीक है, लेकिन आपको समझ नहीं आ रहा प्रेशर्स क्या है जिंदगी क्या, and all that, which you have explained very nicely. Then they might be that यार ये हर जगह how will I carry. तो यही I think बोलना जरूरी है that I think we need to evaluate how important our passion is. अगर आपके अंदर वो आ ही नहीं रहा है कि भैया मेरे को अपना इंस्ट्रूमेंट या मेरे जो भी है, लाइक फॉर मी एज अ पेंटर, मेरे को अपने ब्रशेस, और फॉर अ म्यूजिशियन, कंपोजर, व्हाटएवर, एनीथिंग, अगर या शूज आपको कहीं कैरी करने हैं टू डांस, व्हाटएवर इट इज, अगर आपको अंदर से मनी नहीं कर रहा है कैरी करने के लिए, देन मे बी इट इज नॉट अ पैशन. वो भी बोला, टू इवैल्यूएट एंड अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट योर पैशन इज आल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. दैट इज वन, just cover up your door. Number two, this is something that I need to ask you because this is the main topic, but there are people and a lot of them, because I create art and I get audience because I'm a wall artist, तो पीछे ना audience खड़ी हो जाती है. Nikhil, trust me, every time that I'm doing it, there'll be at least one person who will come up to me and say, I used to paint. I used to, but I don't anymore. So this is what today is all about. Before that though, just tell us two questions. Number one, tell us about your family and how do you manage that? How, आपने बहुत सारी चीजें मुझे बताई थी, how do you manage with your wife? And then move to this, कि जो लोग छोड़ देते हैं उनको क्या बोलिए? That.
Right. So family, managing the family along with all this, the best way is to involve them in it. It's involve them in it. So for example, if I'm practicing my online, why my kids, my parents, anyway, they like it. So they all come and listen. So involve हो जाते हैं. So, my kids will come and sit with me. They will play the sitar a little bit, So all of that, try not to keep it like this is my personal space and nobody else is allowed to come here. If you do that, right, then the family around you thinks negatively of it. So they think that he's trying to avoid, or they're trying to avoid the duties or responsibilities. अपने passion में जाके, this kind of thing is, so this is not an escape. Okay, one important thing, this is not an escape from the responsibilities. This is not an escape from duties, nothing. In fact, this helps you in doing it. So involve them in do it as a group activity. Why not? पहले थोड़ा सा resistance होगा, नहीं, I don't want to do this. It's all like, I don't want to waste his time and all. After some days, they will themselves come and see it. They know that, okay, now my kids and my wife, they know that when it's evening time, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, after dinner, before dinner, they know that I am practicing. So they will come and sit with me, okay, what I'm practicing. They just come and sit and listen. कुछ करना नहीं है. Just आके बैठ के सुनना है. That's it. So that will help. That will help. And like I said, the limits, I know my limits. No, see, iske baad I don't want to upset that balance. See, if given a time to me, I'll keep on playing my sitar forever. I don't have anything. Nothing can. I'm sure you agree too also.
मुझे तेज करके करना है वो. That's my meditation. I'll do it, but I get when you're doing.
So, because there are so many things in this instrument, that are unexplored even now. And I feel like I want to get there, I want to get there, so that kind of thing. But then it is a balance. Like I said, it is a balance. You yourself or we ourselves have decided to start a family, to be a part of this family. So we have to, and it's not a chore, it becomes an enjoyment after that. It becomes an SNLP or a culture.
And how do you also involve yourself? So like this is one part. The other part is the family ka responsibilities day to day, everything. And now with everybody working out of home and all hybrid situation happening, are you also involved equally like how your family is involved with your passion? Tell us about that. Like as a father, as a husband, how do you manage everything else?
Yeah. So, for example, I tried. I mean, I pitch in wherever my help is needed. Basically, managing the house. I mean, because of the lockdown, men are not supposed to be at home, but we have to be at home now because of the lockdown. We are used to going out, working outside, and not doing all the domestic work and all that. But because of the lockdown, I got used to that, and I'm managing that also. I mean, it's definitely it's not my interest, and I don't think any man's interest is to leave the house and go on the domestic chores and all. It's just the way we are wired, So nothing, there's nothing any other different meaning for that. But basically, I'm at now. What happens is my wife is she's in our school. She's working, so she goes to school every day. So I'm working from home. I'm doing the remote or hybrid job here. So I'm managing the house in the mornings, but she's not there. And sometimes the kids are in the at home, or they have a holiday at school, or something. So that I'm managing that also. So this kind of thing again, it is a juggling. Like it is keeping all the basically all the you need to balance all that so that it's more of a juggling kind of thing, but giving equal importance to everything. So
Well, that's nice, Nick. And what I really appreciated was that how openly you accepted and said it that it's not easy, it's not of my interest. Thank you for saying that. And I'm not talking yeah, ye kabhi bhi gender, whether I'm not going to get in between because I don't believe it. I believe in it scientifically that yes, we are wired differently, but I don't believe in what it is becoming these days. बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है. I don't believe in that. I also believe that as a man and as a woman, we are wired. We are wired differently. Yet today we choose because the whole situation and the world has changed. So you said it very nicely that you know what, I'm not used to it, but it is tough. It's not of my interest, but I do it. That is exactly. I think that's why I invited you because truly, you are balancing. You're not sitting in your room and shutting the door. मेरा काम है, मेरा सितार है. I don't care.
Right.
You're not doing that, which I a lot of men are. I'm sorry, I think publicly, I'm aware that a lot of men are just
So I understand.
women are still talking.
For me, the main thing is the work has to get done. Work has to be completed. That then who is doing it? How are they doing it? All this. How is important, but who is not important for me? I mean, that's just the way I think. कि काम हो जाना चाहिए. Suppose their kids are there, they have to get ready. Yeah, okay, that thing has to be done, and it's not like who is doing and why you are doing, why aren't you out of the house? Why are you nothing? At the end of the day, what matters is the work done on. That's it.
I say that work does not have a gender. Work
Yes,
does not
yes,
have to be.
exactly. It has to be whoever it is, just pitch in. It is just do it. Don't talk about it. Don't reason and don't argue. Nothing. Just do it and finish it. So that's the driving force for me. Because if you argue and talk about it, the time that you waste in arguing and talking, that's the time the work would have been done. So,
Yeah, yeah. No,
so that's just the way I think. But again, it's a very personal thing. So not everybody's thinks the same way.
no, that's true. But so a lot of takeaways, no, still. I mean, yes, we are in very different situations, but that's the whole point of these talks. That आपकी talk से अगर मैं 10% भी लेके जा सकती हूँ घर या लेके जा सकता हूँ, then why not, right? And that brings us to pretty much the end of the whole thing. But the main bit for which we are doing this conversation is, Nikhil, now tell us that question that I asked you. That let's say there is a person, maybe a very young person, maybe in their 20s, or even an older person in their 50s or 60s, 40s, whatever, wherever. And they want to really pursue their passion, but the whole job pressure is taking over, or the family pressure, and they're constantly hearing stuff like, time nahi hai, kaun karega, ye, wo. Please, like, what would be the clear cut message? Like, which is why we are doing this talk. Around, say, tell us, what would you want to say to people like that?
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, right, everything comes down to time management. First of all, evaluate yourself. Ye passion, what is this passion? Okay. And how much time do I and energy do I have to invest in this passion? Is it even practical at this stage? So where you are at your stage in your life. So say you're 20. Suppose you're 20, you have a lot of time on your hands. Time is your friend. It is by your side. So so basically again, so there is that you follow that plan. And I can give a detailed plan on how to do this daily, a daily plan, but not making it like a stress situation.
Yeah.
कि आज भी नहीं
Yeah.
हुआ, so then I'm going to take stress on. No, it's not going to be a stressful situation, because you don't want to get into any kind of stress because of the fashion. But when you're 20, you make a plan. You have to separate tracks going on. Career में मुझे कहाँ तक जाना है? Where am I? Where do I want to go with my passion? What's my plan? You have to think 5 years down the line, because 20 to 25 के बीच में बहुत सारे changes हो जाते हैं. You graduate, you get a job, you start families, all these things. So before you start a family, get your ground basics very clear. That other, if you want to learn something when you're 20. So I have a lot of students who are in different age groups. So that's why I'm able to see their lives and mold them accordingly to the sitar. So how they can plan, and still keep learning and pursuing their passion. So 20 to 25 ke beech mein, you have the time, you set your basics right, go and learn that passion, find the best teachers, go and learn. You have enough time to practice. Give 1 hour, at least an hour daily, for whatever passion you have. 1 hour per day, I think you can easily get. 1 hour, no, 24 hours is easy. It's not that difficult.
Very,
So,
very.
correct.
Yeah.
So that is, so depending on the stage of your life, so 25 to 30 get regional family. If you follow the traditional path of starting a family and all, I'm just talking about the normal, not like everybody has their own journey, but I'm just saying the
Yeah.
our India में जो होता है basically that's thing. So 25 to 30, for example, then you start have a family, will get married, then you have extended family, in-laws, everything. So उसमें time थोड़ा सा चला रहेगा. So at that time, you should be at a sort of like an intermediate stage of your passion. So where you will not need that initial huge investment of practice of your time, where you are just, you have gone through all of that. 5 साल में, see, 5 years, I can practice 1 hour daily, you get to a good point. You will get to a good point in your passion. And then, then in that, next 10 years, you are slightly slowing down. But in that time also, maintain that 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day is for the rest of your life, basically. 1 hour a day. Or 1 hour, which hour? Is it the morning hour or evening hour? Whatever it is, get that 1 hour. So that is the different stage of life. And then when you are in your 40s, 30s, 40s, and as you have more and more responsibility like children and all of that, then what happens is your practice time will go down. It will go down because practically possible nahi to stay for hours together and doing a practice. But that also you try to find, like I said, find the time gaps, just go into that. And so wo jo hai na, so at 20, you will not have that drive and that passion. You'll be like, अरे सब लोग सब लोग बाहर जाके रील्स बना रहे हैं, सेल्फी निकाल रहे हैं, ये यहाँ कर रहे हैं, वो कर रहे हैं. People are on YouTube and doing all this and that. I also want to do it. वो सब होगा. That will all be there. But at that point, evaluate your passion. I'm sure every one of us has a passion. There is no single
Yes. Yes.
no person
Yes.
that doesn't have any passion. We are just
Yes, I agree.
but we are wired that way, that we have some passion. It's just that following up on that passion, and that's where on the time management and all comes in. So that is, and like you mentioned, the second question is where I think you mentioned people have given up, right? People have so
Yeah. And a lot of them, yeah. A lot of them.
yeah. So try to find out the reason why you gave up. Did you not? So a lot of students that I have, they're in their 50s. Some of them are in their 60s. And they say that we learned the sitar like, 30 years back. And we have a really old sitar in the house. It's all like damaged and all. I've never looked at it for 30 years. So I asked them, why did you give up? And I will say 90% of the people say, because we did not find a good teacher. A teacher that encouraged us and really taught us this thing, to maintain that balance. See, if I am a teacher, I'm teaching sitar to someone who has a passion of learning sitar. I cannot tell him in today's age and today's time, I cannot tell him go and practice for 10, 12 hours, forget the world and just do that for like next 20, 10
That's not
years.
possible.
That is not practical. So when I guide my students, so all my students are, they have parallel lives. They have their profession, they have their passion. So that's how I guide them. Keep doing both. Make sure you are not lagging behind it any one of them. So that's how I guide them. So this is the main thing. And finding a good teacher, like I said, is the core of them. Any passion, you need a good teacher. I mean, it's there in our scriptures to find the guru, right? So that is a very, very important step. A guru or a teacher should empathize with the student first and understand what is the student journey, what is the life status of that student at that point. Is he a family man, or is he a person who has a very high pressure job and he's continuously at work and unable to spend time at all? These things, if you understand, then you can guide them in that way, basically. And then, so that is where a good teacher comes in. And it's not only about guidance, it is also about what to practice. If I have 1 hour, I need to teach, or the student needs to practice that in 1 hour, equivalent of 10 hours of practice. So because he's not going to find 10 hours to practice, he's going to have only 1 hour. So that's how I teach. I instruct, I give them the exact focused, practice, which will be equivalent to 10 hours of practice in one.
Okay.
So these techniques are very important because I can relate to them because they have their jobs, they have their family, everything is going on.
Yeah.
So
Correct. No, and no, those are really nice. In fact, I've noted down all the points, and I'll probably be making a post with I've written five takeaways. I've actually written from the start of your entire journey, and I'm going to talk about them also. And I think you came up with some amazing points, Nikhil, and it was great that somebody like you is telling, who's practicing. You spoke about parents leading by example. Here's a person, who is leading by example. So you've been a student, now you're a guru. You are a family person, you are a professional, you are a person who is following his passion. I know you're doing 4 to 5 concerts in a month, which means pretty much every week you're doing that. So हो रहा है ना, आप भी तो इंसान ही हो ना at the end of the day, हम जैसे. So that is possible तो है. वही है, that is what today's episode was about actually. That it is possible, it's just, at least I've heard this a lot of times, that, paradigms are doing things like a project. But my point is exactly, I do. In fact, my rest time also is my project. that this is chill time. I'm chilling right now. But that's how I'm able to do so many things. And again, because they are stress free and love doing those things. So I think that common thing between, I would say, people who do follow their passion and have a proper career on the side.
Yes.
That,
Yes. And
those are
one more, sorry, one more thing I want to mention here is that when you have a strong career and your money, your salary, everything is good, that is the best time to practice your passion because you have no pressure, absolutely.
yeah.
Because your mind is very, very calm. It's relaxed. There is no stress of money, salary. Where will I get my next paycheck from? How will I survive? How will I do this? How will I? Those things are not there at all. So you can be true to your art, your passion. You don't, and your entire energy, your mental energy can be used for that without any stress
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
money, and so that's why that's the mantra that I followed. Get your professional life in order, settle there, get settled perfectly with no problems, get your education right, get the right amount of education. Nowadays overqualification is also a problem. That is something. So get the
Yeah.
get the the optimum education.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
right. So we have to be good at everything. It's not like a jack of all trades, but master of none. We don't want that. So that kind of thing where basically so this happens to be a lot of my friends who are full-time musicians. So I'm not discouraging full-time musicians. You definitely there is a lot. If you have that aptitude, you can excel. There's so many full-time big superstars who are full-time musicians. We all know. But my only thing is when you are not a superstar in your fashion, get your job to follow these two lines. And at some point of your life, when you see that you get good in your passion, then you can get into that because by that time you would have saved money, you would have had a good stable
Yeah.
income, everything would have been settled. Your family would have been taken care, everything all those things would have been done. Now you are getting good at this because you kept both the tracks active throughout your career. You can, and the other important point is I get a lot of my friends who have diluted their art because they want to play for the gallery or they want to sell it to the audience. So this thing you will avoid if you know that your income is not dependent on your passion or your art. You will avoid this. So that's why I stay completely true to my passion, to my music. I do not dilute it. I do not try to sell it to someone. I do not try to market it and all of that stuff. It's something that I keep very, very seriously, take very seriously, and I also keep it very true. So a lot of people ask me, why don't you play? Oh, why don't you play like to the gallery and play that, play this. I said, no, I don't want to do that. Because that's not my and that's not my interest, first of all. And I have my job that no for the source
But
of
there,
income.
Nikhil, if you a little, we'll close after this. This will
Yeah,
be the last
no
thing. But
problem. Yeah. Sure.
just a small, a little digression to what you said last, though. I mean, you can disagree with me, but I come from the place, at least I think, that even if there are people like अगर passion है, वो passion के साथ आपको करना क्या है, go for it. But I think what I'm trying to say is that whether somebody wants to sell or you want to do whatever with it, you do. But at least find time for your passion, and
Yes.
putting the dedication, the hard work, and what goes behind it. How it takes form and all, I feel is a very individualistic, choice, I would say, because I mean, I've also seen people being very happy doing very different things with painting or whatever. To each one his own. But I mean, I fully agree with you. But what I'm saying is that to each one his own. But I think today's main thing was the balance, which you really brought out very beautifully. I have taken away a lot from you. So thank you for that, Nikhil. And I think we can open the thing for any questions if anybody might have, and then we close. We're almost at 1 hour.
No, and
If
I
anybody,
really want to thank you also, and not just for today, for the work that you do. That is very. I mean, it's really awesome. I mean, it's completely offbeat. That the work that you do. It's like you mentioned, right? The listening is very, very important nowadays. Nobody wants to listen to anybody. So everybody wants to just talk. So, but I really thank you for the the work that you're doing, and again for inviting me today. It's really wonderful to share my whatever little bit I have learned over the years to share with all of you. Thank you so much.
No, my pleasure. Thank you so much. And on that note, anybody, thank you, Nikhil. And anybody has any questions, now is the time. We wait for about 2 minutes. And we did see two comments. Anjali, I know you, so thank you. And I think there was an unknown, I'm guessing. That must be your friend. I
Yes,
was in your
yes,
notes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So
Yeah.
for
He's my
that,
brother-in-law. Rob, yeah. Yeah.
so thank you for Noel and thank you. Actually, we saw your comments. Thank you so much. This will be posted online for everybody's consumption. But if anybody has any questions right now, we wait for another couple of minutes and then we can close, right? Nikhil, is that okay with you?
Yeah, no
हमने
problem.
हमने तो 30 मिनट सोचा था ये चला गया 55 मिनट. You
So
prefer
yeah, I
having
could.
drink part. That's how it is. That's how it is. But बात में से ही बात निकलती है I feel, है ना?
No problem.
That's
Yeah, I think it's just the journey is a long one, so trying to compress it into like
I know.
because I feel like I need to share everything. I don't want to keep anything back. So which will help
I agree
people
with that.
follow their
I
passion and manage the balance.
that I can talk for life. The same feeling that it's not for anything else. It's to share, completely like share everything which rakho hi nahi andar for everybody else's benefit. I I think you and I are very similar, very
Yes,
similar.
true. Yeah.
So yeah, I think जो आएंगे questions they'll come. Maybe they'll comment on the video later
Yes.
when we post.
Right.
Should we close right now? Should we close?
Yeah.
So
Should be
so
fine. Yeah.
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 Online nature.
So
And
no, thank you so much.
join-
Yes, thank you so much. It was great. It was really amazing, and thank you
Yeah.
for your efforts to doing this. It's really
And
nice to
please
see.
continue and all the best to you. I will be attending one of your concerts. My best friend stays in Pune. I'll be there for sure. Online and
Thank you so much. And safe to you. All the best, for your journey also, and please continue your efforts also in the Voice of Silence.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Nikhil. And
Thank
bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Thank you so much.